and welcome to World News. I'm your host Leora with your reporters Stacy, Sheila, Sarah, and Samara. Today we'll be talking about the Japanese and their part in World War II. The Japanese first started their conquest over Asia with the invasion of Manchuria. The Japanese knew they had a great chance in beating China because the Chinese army was not as industrialized and modern as the Japanese army was. Manchuria is a land rich with iron and coal. It's good for an army that would like to expand and grow, and if the Japanese wanted more room for their population to grow, then they could send people there. Not only will they send settlers there, but they will also send technicians and engineers to start building mines there. Before invading Manchuria, the Japanese had invested a lot of money into Manchuria's economy, which in turn allowed them to gain control of the South Manchurian Railroad. Japan did not want anything to happen to their investment, so when there was an explosion on one of the tracks, the Japanese blamed it on the people there and attacked. The Japanese were able to conquer Manchuria, which the League of Nations highly disapproved of and protested, not allowing for them to do. The Japanese ignored them, left the League in 1933, and because they conquered Manchuria, they were able to conquer the rest of China. Our next segment will be talking more into depth of the Japanese invasion of China.
Now on to the invasion of China. This is the biggest war we have seen in the 20th century. Japan possesses a modern, powerful army, pursued a strategy of quick and decisive victory. China responded with a mass of soldiers and traded space for time in attrition strategy. The initial invasion of 1931, Japan rapidly gained control over the three northeastern provinces of China, known as Manchuria. Now Japan overruns most of northern China and central China, but China refused to surrender. What a brave and nationalistic country. From here, Japan included the U.S. in the war, and this is how Japan came into World War II. Japan lost World War II and needed to surrender all the captured land and some of their own original land. Japan started this invasion to ensure security so that Japan can use natural resources that are needed for Japan's economic independence and self-sufficiency. The idea of conquering and invading came from Japanese victory of the Russo-Japanese War, where they acquired the possession of Liaodong Peninsula leasehold, which Japan renamed Kwantung Leased Territory. Next, Japan invaded Korea and won much riches, minerals, and good farmland, which encouraged Japan to continue expanding, so they expanded into China, only to lose the land they previously gained and more. So sad for Japan, but they really brought it upon themselves. Well, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Depressing War in the News. Have an awesome sparkly day!
We'll be back with World News after these few short messages. Thank you.
She thinks that she's just going to smell and tell me where she thinks she is. But really, I'm just going to kill her because she's Asian.
Where are you taking me? You are going to smell. Smell! I can't smell anything. Smell something or I shoot you! It smells like dying! Smell! No! Where am I? I'm going to shoot you! Where am I? You are smelling! No! Smell! Fine, it smells like wildflower! That's the wrong answer! For breathe. So Japanese can breathe happy, live healthy. Oh my god, it's an Asian! Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. With a gun! Oh, thanks, Samara. Ooh, yeah! One Asian down, millions to go.
Welcome back! Wow, that was a really nice commercial break. Now we're gonna go into the rape of Nanking. Here you go.
Reporting live from your weekly segment of Stacy's Corner, here's your host, Stacy!
Good evening, America. Nanking is captured by the Japanese. It's quite crazy. I mean, seriously? The Japanese are power hungry. Power hungry. The Chinese put up a big fight, and on December 9th, the Japanese put a siege on Nanking, demanding for surrender, or, of course, they will annihilate the city. I mean, seriously, Japanese, come on. I mean, it's so classic. And the Chinese didn't surrender by the time, they had to, right? And on December 10th, Japanese troops took the city by force. I know. Really sad. It's not amazing, it's sad. And now, December 13th, 1937, the Japanese had many armies breach the city limits. General Tang Shang-chi, general of the Chinese army in Nanking, in charge of the entire army there. The Chinese army, not the Japanese army, the Chinese army. Okay? And he ordered his men to retreat. What are they gonna do now? Okay, I'll tell you what they're gonna do. They went into havoc. Okay? Havoc! They stripped the clothes off civilians so they can look like civilians. Okay? Then the Japanese came into the city. Okay? It was absolutely nuts. Nuts! The Japanese are crazy! The city was captured, okay? The Japanese came in. They started trying to differentiate soldier from civilian, civilian from soldier. I mean, havoc. I mean, the Japanese killed civilians anyway. Wow, I know. Well, I just gotta say this. It is not a good day to be in Nanking, right? So, yeah, thank you for joining us here at Stacy's Corner this week. And here we're going now to our special correspondent, Stacy Bayer, my twin, in Nanking. Thank you very much, America.
A reporter! Following the capture of Nanking, the Japanese army massacred thousands upon thousands of residents of the city. They don't know the actual number because many bodies were burnt, buried in mass graves, or thrown in the Yangtze. The Japanese are being horrible to Chinese civilians. They are ruthless! It is really disgusting how us Americans just sit back and watch this happen. We have Robert O. Wilson here, a surgeon at the American Administered University Hospital in the safety zone in Nanking, to tell us some of the atrocities that are happening in Nanking. Hi, hello, Robert. Welcome for being here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, the slaughter of the civilians is appalling. I could go on for pages and pages and pages telling of the stories of the rape and the brutality. It was basically beyond belief. Like, you can't even imagine what happened. There were only 2 corpses that survived, and they were like, it was horrible. Like, it was unbelievable.
I can't believe
and
this. I can. They're the Japanese.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, like they literally came in without warning.
I know.
Or reason, and killed fives and tens of thousands of people, and then it was and they were all wounded or
How do you
killed.
witness this? It's not dying.
It was horrible. It was hard on
my
everyone.
goodness.
Really.
Oh my badness.
It was really bad.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, from the last 2 days, in the house of one of the Chinese staff members of the university.
Oh my god, 2 days? That's it?
Yeah, 2 days.
Oh
in the
my
last
god.
2 days,
Oh my badness.
one of the Chinese people, their house was broken down. The women were raped until they were dead. And it's unbelievable. So many refugees and everything.
Oh my god.
Really bad.
Oh my god. Okay. Thank you, Robert, for being here today. Thank you. Thank you. What is so horrible about this is that no one can stop them. They rape women, and if anyone tries to stop them, they're die on the spot. That's it. I mean, it's horrible. It's seriously really bad. The Japanese are ruthless, and I greatly urge every single American watching this to write letters to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president, and urge him to go into the war and stop the Japanese.
Wow, now that was appalling. Now we're going to go to Pearl Harbor with our reporter, Shira Satara Shinas.
The Japanese attack force stationed itself about 230 miles north of Hawaiian island Oahu. They used the code name Operation Hawaii for the attack, but later changed to Operation Z. Concerned that they might be spotted by another ship, the attack force, led by Vice Admiral Shuichi Nagumo, zigzagged across the Pacific Ocean, avoiding major shipping lines. It was a 3,000-mile-long journey from Etarofu Island in the Kurils, located northeast of Japan, till they reached their destination safely. They sneaked 6 aircraft carriers, 9 destroyers, 2 battleships, 2 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, and 3 submarines across the Pacific Ocean, which was not a simple task. At about 6 a.m., the Japanese aircraft carriers began launching their airplanes at the first wave of the attack. In total, 183 were launched. Furthermore, during the second wave, an additional 167 were launched at even rougher seas at 7:15. The first wave of planes reached the U.S. Naval Station at 7:55 a.m., just before the first bombs dropped on Pearl Harbor. Commander Mitsuo Fuchida, leader of the air attack, called out "Tora, Tora, Tora," which told the entire Japanese Navy that they had caught the Americans totally by surprise. This was a coded message, which means tiger, tiger, tiger in English. Sunday mornings were usually days of leisure for the U.S. Navy. Many were still asleep, eating breakfast, or getting ready for church. But then, when the explosion started, many were shocked into the realization that this was not a training exercise, but that Pearl Harbor was really under attack. At 8 a.m., Admiral Husband Kimmel, in charge of Pearl Harbor, sent out an official report to all in the U.S. Naval Fleet. Air raid on Pearl Harbor X. This is not a drill. At 9:45, when the Japanese left the harbor, the Americans didn't know it was over and still expected more. Again, this was a total surprise attack, and they were not aware of the situation.
Thank you for joining us today for World News.
Wow, they did horrible things, but we know that the U.S. will overcome them. But
You never know! Interesting news report. Yeah, it was. It was really great. We learned so much about Japan. And how they're treating their people there. And how their conquest.
I know, they are power hungry. Power hungry! We have to urge FDR! You know what? From Pearl Harbor, we did. So thank you, Japanese, for getting FDR. Yes, in that war! Whoa! 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 Whoa!